And now we head back to Africa. Egypt has many tourist highlights, including the pyramids. Very often, the tourists are brought there on donkey or camel or horse carts. Unfortunately, many of these animals are badly treated. One woman wants to change that, and that's what we bring you in our latest edition of Doing Your Bit.
Luxor, Egypt. Between all the monuments, horses and donkeys pull cartloads of tourists and crops. For thousands of years, the animals have been revered for their hardiness. But their welfare is often neglected. They frequently suffer from injuries and illnesses. Often the neglect is not a result of animosity, but reflects a lack of education. "20 years ago, a veterinarian started to provide free treatment. Today, animal care in Egypt is a well-equipped hospital and stable, providing care for up to 75 donkeys and horses per day, mostly treating malnourishment and injuries from road accidents or improper saddling. ACE also launched an education program for children to prevent animal cruelty in future."
Do you like that? If you are also doing your bit, tell us about it. Visit our website or send us a tweet. #DoingYourBit. We share your stories.
Let's head over to Western Africa now. In the Gambia, oysters are typical on the menu, but harvesting them often damages or even destroys the mangroves they live in, and that's a major problem for the environment.
Indeed, mangroves are very important as a breeding ground for small fish and for carbon storage. One initiative set up training sessions for the locals to ensure that mangroves are better protected.
The mangrove forests in northwestern Gambia are a major factor in the battle against climate change. Their roots store 5 times more carbon dioxide than other types of rainforest. Wild oysters grow on their roots. Harvesting them provides women with a source of income, but in the past, the mangroves were damaged in the process. After the shellfish are steamed and the shells opened, they're ready to be sold.
During the 4 months of harvesting season, I might earn up to €50 a day. I'll pay the rent on my house for the rest of the year, the school fees for my kids, and I'll put some aside.
A can of oysters sells for the equivalent of about 50 cents. But even though oyster farming provides women with a livelihood, it's also contributed to the degradation of the mangrove forests. And that's impacted the local ecosystem because the mangroves provide a breeding ground for fish. Katang is a town on Gambia's west coast. Fatou Jana is a fashion designer and an activist. She campaigns for mangrove forest conservation. For the last 10 years, she's also organized workshops designed to improve the lives of Gambia's female oyster harvesters.
So I came in just to see how I can help them so they can improve their lives and improve the environment also. Because the environment is important here for us because they've been chopping the mangroves and taking the oysters. So I believe that that has a great impact on the climate change in the Gambia.
One simple alteration to the harvesting system makes a huge difference. If the women collect the oysters at low tide, they don't need to chop off the roots.
We know that if we continue cutting the roots of the mangroves, there'll come a time when there are no more oysters to harvest. Anyone who hacks the roots of the mangroves is penalized. The oyster farmers are organized and have regulations to follow.
The women are also starting to rely less on wild oysters. This is an improvised oyster farm. It's a project that sees oysters grown on racks rather than mangrove roots. It takes a year for them to mature. These oyster aquacultures have improved working conditions for women from 15 villages in the area.
The farming changed our way of harvesting. It stopped us from paddling far away, and it also gives chance to the fish that lay eggs. It reduces also our tiredness.
They take a long trip by the day trying to get the oysters. So, and some of them have drowned here before. Some of them have a pregnant woman. We lost a pregnant woman one time.
Accidents are now a thing of the past. The women have even begun planting new mangroves.
Everything you see I planted myself. Now they've all grown big. Thanks to Fatou, we now know how to conserve and protect mangroves.
Fatou Jana's organization has trained around 1,000 women in sustainable oyster harvesting techniques. Their standard of living has improved, and the delicate mangrove ecosystem is thriving.
That's all we have time for. We will be back next week with more environmental ideas and initiatives from Africa and Europe. We hope you enjoyed the show. My name is Neota Egbe. Goodbye from Lagos, Nigeria.
And goodbye from Kenya. If you want to find out more, go to our website or check us out on social media. You'll find the addresses in the end credits. We always welcome your feedback and your comments. So until next time, goodbye and many thanks for watching. See you next time.